What's up, modern day pirates? Welcome to the Captain's Lifestyle Podcast, where I inspire you to transform your health, find fulfillment, and maximize freedom. This episode will be a question and answer. I'm answering your questions from social media. I'm pulling from Instagram. I put it up on my stories. Ask me a question and also made a TikTok. So I will be reading some of those questions today, and we'll see how many of them I want to get through. So, to bring you guys up to speed, I just took a bong hit with some quantumly charged cannabis. Uh, what I mean by quantumly charged is this little guy right here, this travel quantum block from a company called Lila Tech. I'll put it link to it in the description. I recorded a podcast with the founder. It blew me away, and ever since that interview, I've traveled with the Lila Quantum Block, their travel edition. So I charge a lot of things in there. I charge supplements. I charge any cannabis that I consume, any other medicinal um, substances that I may consume, charge water, food, etc. So, anyways, didn't want to get that deep into it, but that's where we're at because I saw a Soul of Jarrett podcast where he did this exact same thing. He put it out to his social media, asked me a question and got super high and told the people the truth, what they need to hear, and that sounded like a lot of fun for me. So here I am, um, ready to speak the truth as I do. To prepare for that, and for this, I'm going to be, and to give a shout out to my sponsors because they are paying for me to do what I do. So shout out to Newtopia for keeping it real, making some of the best, actually, I'll take that back, the best nootropics on the market. And I say that because they're customized to your specific neurobiology. Before you order, you fill out a questionnaire asking, like, how much sleep do you get? Um, what supplements are you currently taking? What's your diet like, etc. Um, what are you struggling with, like focus, you want more energy, a mood boost, etc. And based on your answers, they custom the formulations to fit your neurotransmitter imbalances. So this particular one is their Gabalicious. I'm going to be pouring into some spring water here. This is not Mountain Valley brand. We went to the local spring here today in Richmond, Virginia, picked up some free spring water. So, anyways, this is Gabalicious. This is what I use as an alcohol alternative because if you've heard my story, you know that I used to have a problem with drinking. And then I gave it up after I broke my ankle for 2 years, and now I rarely drink, but I still enjoy the effects that alcohol provided, the social openness, the for me personally, the social interaction skills. I'm much more social and engaging um, when I'm drunk. When I used to be drunk, I haven't gotten drunk in years. But anyways, Gabalicious, because of its ingredients, help me not only downregulate, so reduce stress, but also have more open and engaging conversations. So that liquid courage that a lot of people drink alcohol for. That was me, and also an introvert. So this helps me break out of my shell and record these videos because, contrary to popular belief, I still do get anxious sometimes and stressed when creating content. A lot of people think that this just comes naturally to me, which in most most ways it does, but I still do get anxiety and create stress around creating content on occasion. So yeah, Gabalicious is delicious. It helps me chillax because let me read you the ingredients. It's got a bunch of good shit in here: taurine, glycine, L-theanine, um, tyrosine. They flavor it all naturally. It's delicious. They use organic green apple, organic apple juice powder, and yeah, that's it. There's also GABA in here, which is the inhibitory neurotransmitter. Blue spirulina for color, so no artificial color in here. Plus, spirulina is a superfood. Alpha GPC, magnesium glycinate, which you guys know how much I love magnesium. Guarana, magnesium, another form of magnesium, zinc, vitamin B6. So yeah, there's a lot of good shit in here. And you can order this individually. So Newtopia used to be you have to order everything, and now they changed it to where you can just order these. So I had a one-on-one client who recently gave up alcohol. He decided that he no longer drinks, and I mentioned Gabalicious to him to aid in his transition because, like I said, it still provides similar effects to alcohol, both down-regulatory and a feeling of more um, calmness, more joy. Not that alcohol does that, but this certainly does. So, anyways, you guys can use code Captain Morgan if you want to try the Gabalicious for yourself. Chillax on a nice, beautiful evening. All right, next up, I want to give a shout out to my boy Mason and the Stampede Network. In addition to Bioptimizers, Stampede is a very close second behind my favorite supplement brand. They make all high quality shit. I use their Awakened Holistic Pre Workout. That's actually the only pre workout that I'll consume. I also have their Bee Bread. This is fantastic stuff, great for immunity, overall vitality. But today I want to highlight creatine. So creatine is a supplement I get questions about a lot. I got some today, recorded a video on it. Creatine, uh, I think most people should be on creatine, especially if you're vegan. Vegans are notoriously deficient in creatine. But, anyways, I don't think there's many vegans watching. If there are, great. Hello, I think you should be supplementing with creatine because you're not eating enough red meat, which contains creatine. I eat a lot of red meat, and I also supplement with creatine because it is one of the most well studied supplements on the market, specifically for athletic performance. So it's great for increasing strength, for increasing stamina. And I'm just figuring out where to look because the camera's up here, but I can see myself down here, which is kind of off center. So I feel like I can focus better if I'm looking at myself because I can kind of see. So let me adjust this to be right underneath the camera. This is my first time doing a YouTube live, by the way. Nobody's watching, although somebody liked it, which is cool. But you guys are seeing this live. So, anyways, yeah, creatine is fantastic for not only muscle strength and endurance, but also for cognition. So, um, I also heard on Ben Greenfield's podcast that it's great for sleep. That there's a study that people who supplemented with creatine when they got lack of sleep, they well, I'm going to stop talking because I forget exactly what it was, and I'm not just going to say something to make something up. But I've heard that it can be good for sleep. It's obviously good for muscle size. Creatine is a supplement that I've been taking pretty consistently since I heard about its benefits. And there's also no real side effects. Like, yes, individuals can have, one-off side effects, but for the majority of the population, there's no negative side effects of creatine. The most common one would be uh, like you retain water, muscle fullness. So yeah, I get my creatine from Awaken because I order a bunch of their other stuff as well. So if you guys want to get some creatine, first off, you can get it at any store. Really, what you want to look for is creatine monohydrate. No added bullshit in there. If you want to get this creatine, great. You can use code CAPTAIN to get a discount on that and support myself, this podcast, and the continued truth that I will be spreading. In addition to just fucking bullshit entertainment. So, yeah. And before we begin, which I am looking forward to getting into these questions, I haven't looked at them. I mean, I've seen some of them, but I haven't like contemplated my answers. So we're going into this blind because of that, and because I just like the feeling, uh, and specifically the verbal fluency and focus that I get from nicotine. So nicotine gets a bad rap because it's in cigarettes. Yes, cigarettes are bad, but nicotine on its own as a compound and as a nootropic is not bad. It's actually quite useful. It raises acetylcholine in the brain, which helps tremendously with focus and attention. It's also good for physical performance. I don't personally use it for physical performance. Um, but yeah, I also read today that consuming nicotine can reduce the half life of caffeine. So, caffeine in general has a half life of 2 to 6 hours, meaning that 2 to 6 hours after you consume caffeine, half of that caffeine is still going to be in your system. It can have a quarter life up to 9 to 12 hours. So, meaning 12 hours later, 25% of the caffeine that you had 12 hours earlier could still be in your system. Everybody's got a little bit different of a time that they metabolize caffeine. And I saw today that consuming nicotine can reduce the half life, so it can get the caffeine out of your system quicker. How it does that, I have no idea, but I saw that today in an article. So, which brings me to a good point. I was going to say you guys should, but I'm going to take that back. I really enjoy learning something new every single day. Um, yeah, I'll leave it at that. That is the G in the Cage's morning ritual, which, if you guys haven't seen that, aren't familiar with it, click the link in the description to download the Captain's Code, which are the 12 non negotiable habits that are required for lifestyle transformation. That will get you onto my email list, where one of the emails you get will be an explanation of the Cage's morning ritual, which are the 5 things that I recommend you implement into your morning to get your day started off on a productive foot, as opposed to waking up groggy, tired, stressed out, etc. So the G in the Cage's morning ritual is growth. Learn something new every single day. You win the morning, you win the day. All right. Let's pull out my phone. Where is it? Oh, and dive into these questions. All right, this is going to be fun. Let's see. So we will go to the archive, my Instagram stories. We're going to go Instagram first and then on to TikTok. All right. So, how many questions we got? All right, we got a good list of questions here. So let's get into these. I'll go first to last. Tamara Strasser asks how to protect from spike protein for vaxxed people. I have no idea. I have no idea. And that's not something that I personally have to worry about because I did not get that. But yeah, I don't know if there is a way. Sandra asks, I would like to know if I have any experience with Kundalini. No, I do not. Not yet. Caleb asks, what do you do when family or friends pressure you to eat food that you know is not good? I don't know how old this person is, like if they're a baby boy or a full grown adult. I can't see that, because that will, change the way that I respond to this a little bit. I'm going to assume that you are an adult, meaning at least 18 years of age. So, what do you do when your friends or family pressure you to eat food that you know is not good? One, the only way that somebody can make you do something that you know is not good is if you don't know who you are and you don't love yourself. Because if you loved yourself and you knew an action was wrong to take, you wouldn't take that action. You would live in alignment with your truth and what you know to be right. So that would be my advice to you: is figure out who you are. Click the link in the description to join the Captain's Lifestyle Crew. That's my men's community and the best way that I can provide you guys value. Uh, with that, you get daily Telegram support and chat with me and the other crew members. You get a weekly coaching call with myself, and I also host monthly high performance masterminds. In addition to that, one of the emails that you'll get after joining the crew will have you create your MVVP, your mission, vision, values, and purpose. And if you guys heard the episode, the first new edition of this episode. Who is Captain Taylor Morgan? I talked about my experience in Saudi Arabia when, discovering who I am and what I'm here to do. The MVVP process was transformational. And now that I understand that, it's like, who's going to pressure me besides myself to take an action that I know is not good? It doesn't happen. The other thing that I would say is lead by example. Be a man. Lead by example. Talk to your friends and family and explain to them why you're choosing to not eat those foods that they are apparently pressuring you to eat. So lead by example, be the man, explain why you're not doing it, explain why that food is not good for you. So that's also why it's important to learn something new every single day. Learn the information that you want to improve your life. Knowing why food is bad for you can be beneficial. So, especially in the explanation process, first off, you don't even need to explain yourself. You can just say no. No is a complete sentence. No, period. No, thank you. If you want to be polite, it's your family. But yeah, you can simply refuse. And so one of the guys in the crew, actually, on our last crew call, he said that he had been slacking this past week with his diet because he was at family's house and he didn't want to be rude, was the word that he used, and refuse the food. And I asked him, is it rude to prioritize your health? He paused for a second and, kind of looked around, took a breath. And then he said, I never thought of it that way. And I asked him, now that you're thinking of it that way, do you think that it's rude to prioritize your health? And he said, no. And I explained to him what I'm explaining now. As men, as leaders, as modern day pirates, we are responsible for leading by example. Our purpose is to make thriving standard, because what's standard today is 80% of people are overweight or obese. What's standard today is 60% of people have at least one diagnosed chronic dis-ease. Over 60% of people are living in dis-ease. I would say that's like 90% of people, because most people don't like their jobs or living in stress, etc. 40% of that 60% has at least, or has two or more chronic diseases: anxiety, depression, suicide, mental health issues, mental disabilities are all rising at an alarming rate. So it's clear that the Western medical system is not working. Like, that's what's standard now. So because we know different, and when I say we, I mean myself and the crew, we are responsible for leading by example and being real men who speak the truth. Real men who know themselves and love themselves and know their purpose don't allow themselves to be pressured by friends or family to take an action that they don't want to take, that they know is not right for them, or that they know is not right collectively for humanity. So, yeah, that's all the time I'll spend on that. It is, in fact, not rude to prioritize yourself and your health. It is just the opposite. All right. I would like to see your testosterone levels. That interests me the most. It's strange to me that that is of such interest to you. I don't know my testosterone levels, although a company recently reached out to me offering to send me uh, blood tests for life. So I believe I emailed them back. So we'll see about that, because I would be curious to see my testosterone levels. I don't think I care as much as this guy, because apparently that's what interests him the most. But carrying on. Erica asks, best advice to lose weight. I'm eating pretty healthy and exercising. That's where they got you, Erica. The big food corporations, actually, I won't even go there. I won't even go there. Yeah, so eating healthy and exercising are absolutely a part of weight loss, but it's nowhere near the most important part. The most important part of fat loss and living a healthy life overall is optimizing your sun exposure. So, the most important aspect of health, including fat loss, is your circadian rhythm. If your circadian rhythm is imbalanced, then the whole rest of your life is going to be imbalanced because your circadian rhythm, uh, uh, what's the best word to say this? I'm not a very scientific person. I don't know a lot of these, super scientific ways to say these things, but your circadian rhythm dictates two hormones called leptin and ghrelin. Ghrelin is what makes you feel hungry. Leptin is what satiates you. They do a lot more than that, but for the basics. So if your circadian rhythm is out of whack and you are fat, there's an imbalance in leptin and ghrelin. So optimizing your circadian rhythm by watching the sunrise, getting ever increasing bouts of sun exposure in the afternoon sun, and getting out in the evening, watching the sunset, as well with along with avoiding artificial blue lights. Like if you work in an office building, a school, or a hospital, jail, any government building, it's all artificially blue lit. So the the main cause of all of this fat accumulation that we're seeing today for most people is, in addition to obviously a sedentary lifestyle and crappy diet, is not enough actual light exposure. Um, so yeah, watch the sunrise, spend ever increasing amounts of sun exposure uh, outside in the afternoon between the hours of 10 and 2 when UV is high. And it's going to depend on your skin type. It's going to depend on where you are in the world. It's going to depend on what time of year it is. Um, so the D Minder app, the letter D, MINDR, D Minder app, I recommend that app to tell you the UV index and how much UV light there is. Um, and then that can also be a good starting point to understand how much time outside you should spend. Um, and then block blue light in the evening. So that's why I can turn my phone screen red with 3 clicks of the side button. That's why I have a software downloaded on my computer that can turn the whole computer screen red, which I'll leave a link to in the description so you guys can get that as well. That's why I wear blue light blocking glasses, um, because of how important your light environment is. I could go on this, but this would be a whole podcast if I kept going with this. And I want to get to the rest of these questions. Can I give you a list of your favorite superfoods? I think the term superfood gets thrown around too much. Um, without thinking about it too much, I'm just going to list off some of my favorite foods. Oysters, I think, are a superfood, especially for guys. They contain high amounts of zinc, along with omega-3 fatty acids, which are anti-inflammatory, good for overall wellness, um, brain health, heart health, joint health. Um, the zinc is good for immune system and also boosting testosterone. So oysters, high quality grass fed and regeneratively raised animal products. Bone marrow, I would say, is another superfood. Bone marrow. Um, Spirulina is a plant form of a superfood. It's a blue green algae that's also high in protein and omega 3s, along with a bunch of other compounds. Like, hey, it's in Gabalicious. Check that out. Drinking superfood right here. Other superfoods. Shilajit. I would say that's kind of more of a supplement than a food. But Shilajit, super nutrient dense, also good for boosting testosterone, increasing vitality, very dense in minerals. Mm. We'll leave it at that for now. What made me decide to live my life the way I am living it now? Asks Jessa.Whiteside. Jessa, I encourage you to watch the episode titled "Who is Captain Taylor Morgan?" I go into it on that episode. Uh, Puppy Rescuers asks, "What does my necklace mean? Where did I get it from?" This is from a company called Aries Tech. You can see everybody asked about it because it looks so cool, especially in the sun. But this is biogeometry. And on this side, there's a microprocessor in the middle there. And it does more than just look cool. It draws in the chaotic energy from the EMFs that are being emitted from my phone, like 5G, LTE, etc., Wi-Fi from my laptop, modulates them, and then harmonizes them with my body so they're no longer harmful. I recorded a podcast with the CEO of this company, so you can check that episode out if you want to learn more about electromagnetic fields. And I'll leave a discount code for this in the description. Jen asks, how do I keep from getting body odor by only being outside in the sun and using no soap? I don't keep from getting body odor. I smell like a natural man, um, which I gave up the idea that I have to try to cover that up. That's just the way that human beings smell. Now, I don't go around reeking. Like, I do use natural soap and I do use natural deodorant. Um, but yeah, I find that just rinsing with water um, keeps me stank free for a while. That's why I only use deodorant about once a week, use natural soap maybe a little bit less than that. But yeah, like if I get dirty and stinky, I'm gonna use soap. What daily supplements are good to take? Stephanie K2323, I cannot answer that question for you because I don't know anything about you. Um, but I can answer this generally. What daily supplements are good to take in general for most people? Definitely magnesium. Magnesium plays a role in over 600 different enzymatic functions. Uh, uh, 80% of people are deficient in it, up to 80% because of poor farming practices. So even if you're eating high magnesium foods like cashews, leafy greens, pumpkin seeds, then you're still probably deficient because of, again, poor farming practices, just over farming, not using actual soil, etc. So, um, oh, the benefits of magnesium. Because it plays a role in over 600 different enzymatic functions, it's basically a shotgun for overall health and wellness. The things that I talk about most are its reduction in stress. It's fantastic at down-regulating the nervous system, which is why there's two forms of magnesium in Gabalicious, because this is a down-regulatory supplement. It's also got an inverse relationship with anxiety. So the more deficient you are in magnesium, the higher your uh, possible rates of anxiety will be. It's also fantastic at improving muscular recovery, at reducing headaches, at absorbing muscle cramps because it's one of the electrolytes. Sodium, potassium, magnesium. Um, what else? It's good for brain health. It's good for heart health. So yeah, magnesium is my number one recommended supplement. Good for deep sleep. Um, so yeah, I'll put the discount link to Magnesium Breakthrough in the description. You want to look out for most magnesium supplements over the counter or that you'll find in stores because they're usually magnesium oxide, which is very poorly absorbed by the body. And why companies use it is because it's the cheapest form. And they think that you don't know any better, but luckily you follow the captain, and the captain sets you straight with the truth. And the truth is that magnesium oxide is very poorly absorbed. Magnesium glycinate is a good form to look for. That's what I used before I found Magnesium Breakthrough. But yeah, Mag Breakthrough combines 7 different forms of bioavailable magnesium. So definitely magnesium, I think everybody should take. Creatine, like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I believe everybody should take, even if you don't lift, just because it's good for cognition, sleep, etc. Plus, who couldn't use a little extra muscle strength and endurance, right? So magnesium, creatine, What other ones do most people need to take? I used to say cod liver oil, which would have made one of my superfoods, but some things that I've learned recently about vitamin A toxicity have caused me to question and pause my own intake of cod liver oil. Um, it is high in omega 3s, and there are a bunch of studies talking about the benefits of cod liver oil. But as long as you eat a high quality diet, and by high quality, I mean specifically in this case, high in omega 3s, so like grass fed, regeneratively raised beef, pasture raised eggs, um, um, high quality, fresh caught seafood, like the oysters that I mentioned, I don't think you need to supplement with cod liver oil. Um, So that'll be my answer for this question. I don't think most people should be taking a whole bunch of supplements, but magnesium is one that I recommend, and then I'd add creatine to that list. Lenoir.06 asks, at 17, what's the most important thing to start doing that will benefit me long term? I'm going to assume that this person is a male who's asking this question. The most important thing to start doing that will benefit me long term. The first thing that came to mind was prioritizing yourself. The second thing that came to mind, and that feels more right, more in alignment with truth, is question everything. Question everything. Don't just blindly believe what somebody tells you, even if they have, especially if they have a PhD or an MD or some important person talking on the news, some person in government, me, anybody on social media, your parents. Question what they say and intuitively ask yourself, is this true? Is this false? Do I need to do my own research into this? Um, because especially at that age, um, you are being nudged in certain different directions based on what the mainstream narrative wants you to believe and follow. So that is the most important thing that I recommend, is start to question everything, all of your current beliefs, even, and be curious. Be curious is a good way to phrase this. Um, Second thing, I would say to join the Captain's Lifestyle crew, my men's community, where you join a whole bunch of other like minded, growth oriented men who do question what is being taught, what they have already learned, and are actively working on becoming the best versions of themselves. So, link in the description to join the crew. Oh, here we go. Javi.mg_ asks, is masturbation bad for health? Short answer, no. More in-depth answer, potentially. So the person who asked this is a male. The answer is completely opposite for women. Women should orgasm every single day. It is extremely stress relieving. It releases oxytocin and feel good neurotransmitters. So women, you lucked out. Fucking rub that thing. And also, uh, well, yeah, I'll fucking talk about this on here. Reduce your reliance on vibrators, especially that can overstimulate the clitoris and make it so like you have to have that vigorous rubbing or vibration to have a good orgasm. So I don't know a lot about this topic, but there are resources out there where you can learn how to be more in tune and in touch literally with your body and understand what feels good for you, and etc. But the person who asked this is a guy, and so he asked this question because I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard about like nofap or semen retention, for example, and where a lot of the negative aspects of masturbation come from are pornography. I've talked about this on a podcast before with Zach Blakeney, titled uh, "Pornography, Overcoming Addictions, and Escaping the Matrix." So check that one out. I'm going to have him back on. He's a featured coach in the crew. my men's community. So if you join the crew, you'll be able to talk with him directly. He's actively in there answering questions for the guys, because this is something a lot of guys, myself until recently included, struggled with. So the pornography addiction is definitely a problem. Just releases crazy amounts of dopamine, and like me personally, I've spent countless hours wasting my time watching porn when I could be doing something productive. Um, and I've also struggled with performance anxiety and erectile dysfunction because of pornography and frequent masturbation, which is something that I talk about in that episode with Zach Blakeney. So masturbation on its own is not bad for health, even for men. Like if you do it when you need or when you would benefit from a release. So I've practiced semen retention for the longest I've gone was, I think, 28 days for No Nut November. And I started to notice diminishing returns after about 2 weeks. So 2 weeks of no ejaculation, I felt fucking incredible. I felt like I could fucking run through walls, and I was productive. I was accomplishing shit. Uh, After, so like weeks 3 and 4, I started to notice I was a little bit more stressed out and on edge and more easily aggravated. So then, yeah, towards the end, when I finally ejaculated after whatever it was, 28 days, then I was like, oh, that's better, and I was able to continue feeling productive, energized, etc. So currently, I am around once a week to once every other week for an ejaculation. What else do I want to say for this? Yeah, semen retention can not only improve your focus and um, like performance anxiety, erectile dysfunction when you stop watching porn and detox yourself from all that dopamine, but it can also increase vitality, energy, uh, just vigor. You feel more full of life, as well as testosterone. So, yeah, that's all I'll say for that. Lacey asks, should you train on sore muscles or rest an extra day? The answer to that is nuanced. It will depend. If you're a seasoned athlete and understand your body, I train through sore muscles often. But like if you're new to training, you don't really know the difference between like injury and soreness. Um, yes, you can train through soreness. If it's an injury, that's a different story. Depends on the severity of the soreness. So I would say listen to your body. But if you're new to training, you might hear listen to your body and say, "Oh, I'm sore," and not do anything. So yeah, I would say the answer is it depends. I don't really know anything about you or anything. But yeah, it's not going to be the end of the world if you train sore muscle. Let's say you fucking blast biceps one day, and then the next day you come back and do like a bunch of pull-ups and bent over rows, things that incorporate the bicep. Like that may not be a great idea. Obviously, you don't want to overtrain a muscle. But yeah, the answer is it depends. Am I always barefoot? Yes. Well, always, no. I'm not always barefoot. Most of the time, I am barefoot. What kind of water filter do I use at home? I don't have a home, so I don't use any water filtration system. Um, Also, what kind of detergents do I use? Thanks. Natural detergents, things without artificial fragrance. Um, but yeah, currently don't have a physical location, so I don't buy detergent or use a water filter. I'm a land pirate right now, a digital nomad, traveling place to place, stopping into my parents' house in between travels, staying with friends, Airbnbs. In my car, actually, is I love sleeping in that. I got my '04 white Chevy Tahoe out there, my land pirate ship. Um, Love you. All right. Donuts _and_ doobies asks, have I been hunting and how do I feel about hunting to provide food for my family? I have not been hunting for animals. Just kidding, I haven't been hunting for humans either, although I trained for that. How do I feel about hunting to provide food for your family? I think it's great. I think if the more that we can create that connection with not only our food, but especially an animal, if we're killing it, if we can create a ceremony around that and know where the food came from and, had to actually work for our food like we did in the past, I think that's wonderful. I would love to go hunting, and yeah, I'll leave it at that. Man, this is going well, and it's taken longer than expected because I'm going in depth into some of these questions. Like fuck, here we go. Jacob loves being alive. Wow, I love that username. Jacob loves being alive asks, what is the most important concept for society to understand? That we are sovereign beings. We have forgotten that we are innately free. Free from control of our own mind and free from control from anybody else. No other person has authority or power or control over you unless you grant it to them. Unless you grant it to them, which we have, which is why we have government. The definition of government, or government, is derived, and its literal definition is mind control, to control the mind. Then you've got people in the education system who want to control what you learn and believe that anything that's not taught in the education system can't possibly be correct, which the education system look at who they're funded by and who they were founded by and what they're teaching you and why they're teaching you that, etc. Yeah, anyways, if you listen to my last podcast on why I was deported from the Bahamas, it's because of this, is that humans have forgotten that we are sovereign and that we do not need to be order followers, especially if the orders that you are following are immoral or wrong actions to take. So we have forgotten that we are each personally responsible for the actions that we take. And yeah, I'm going to be going much more in depth into this on another podcast. But for now, I'll leave it with that. Martina asks, do I recommend to wear blue light glasses as protection? Yes, I mentioned this in the beginning. Absolutely. I'll put the discount links to the two companies that I use and recommend in the description. Raw Optics and Viva Rays. Spirit Warrior Love asks, what is a practice you have used to step out of your comfort zone and keep climbing? Good question. One of my core values is challenge. And to be honest, recording the last two episodes of this podcast were a challenge because I was anxious and yeah, I stress myself out and worry about if I'm going to mumble my words. That used to be something that I struggled with as a kid. I used to have a lisp. I used to have, speech issues. So yeah, when I get anxious, that manifests itself. So yeah, the last two episodes, I was feeling a little bit of anxiety and stress, and that's how I knew that I had to record them. So now when I feel that feeling, instead of what I used to do, which was, avoid it or put it off, I now take action in the face of fear, uncertainty, stress, anxiety, etc. Man, I got a frog in my throat. Oh man, this Gabalicious is so good. I'm starting to feel it too. I'm about halfway done. This is potent stuff. Um, yeah, I'll leave it at that. This is potent stuff. Where was I? Oh, what practices have I implemented to level up and grow? That acting in the face of fear, uncertainty, anxiety, stress, um, living with courage, living courageously, not being controlled by fear, but instead acknowledging it and acting in the face of it, deliberately putting myself into challenging situations, both physically and mentally. So, and a lot of them are both. Like physical challenges can be mental challenges. This is why I do intense workouts, and I've made content around how I talk to myself during workouts, because it used to be I would degrade myself during workouts, and my performance wasn't that great. But now that I'm speaking affirmations to myself and using some mindset hacks, it's both a physical challenge and even more so of a physical challenge, because I'm challenging and training my mind, which is the T in the captain's code. Train your mind and train your body. Another example of a physical and mental challenge is ice baths. This is the main reason I love ice baths so much, because when you can deliberately put yourself into and overcome and even get to the place of relaxed peace and presence in difficult, uncomfortable, challenging situations, that then translates to every other aspect of your life. So life can be extremely uh, simple, and I can even fall into this trap of just constantly being stressed out, worried, anxious, like fearful about something, and then I take a moment and breathe, and I was like, I'm not actually worried about this. There's nothing to worry about, and I continue building that resiliency through putting myself in challenges. So I'm always seeking out challenges. Um, yeah, social challenges are a big one for me. So I've practiced starting to, ask questions, being the first one to talk, recording videos when I don't feel like it, things like that. So great question. Uh, HBB Sweet asks, do I treat or speak to women differently than to men? Yes, I do, because they are two different energies. Men in general are more masculine energy. Women in general are more feminine energy. That is definitely something that I'm practicing. My communication with women is definitely not the best. I haven't had a lot of practice with that in terms of an intimate relationship I'm referring to. But yeah, definitely. And it is getting better. My friend Kimberly, whose house I'm staying at, she is what I would consider to be an expert in the feminine art of talking to the masculine energy. She has paid attention to and really like studied and contemplated how to more effectively talk to men. And yeah, we've talked about this a lot, her and I have, and I think she should write a book about it, on it. Do I use ghee? Yes, I use ghee. Grass fed, of course. Um, I have cancer and don't want to get any more chemo. What do you suggest I should try? This is not medical advice. I feel like there's some legal reason I have to say that. So I don't even want to say talk to your doctor, because they're not going to know. They're the reason you're in this place to begin with. Talk to, man, do I have to say talk to your doctor? Um, Talk to a holistic doctor. Um, get other opinions. Let's say that. Ask multiple doctors in multiple different fields. Um, I am not a doctor, but you asked my suggestion, so I will answer. I suggest that you get more sunlight. I already talked a little bit about this. Get more sunlight, eat a ketogenic diet, and practice intermittent fasting. If I got cancer, here, we'll say it this way: if I got cancer, this is what I would do. I would maximize my time in the sun, which I already do. I would combine that time with taking ice baths and grounding, which reduces stress and inflammation. I would do a ketogenic diet with intermittent fasting every single day. I would probably do 18 hours a day and then a longer like 24 plus like 72. If I found out I got cancer, I'd probably do like a 10-day fast, 10-day fast. And then from there, like a 16 to 18 hour intermittent fast with a 24 plus hour fast every week or every 2 weeks. I would drink deuterium depleted water, which is very difficult to get. I have not tried it yet. I would also continue protecting myself from EMFs. That's why I wear this Aries necklace. And I would move to like where's a great location, like Costa Rica. I would move to Costa Rica where I could just get plenty of sunlight. Yeah, that's what I would do if I got cancer. Bro, suggest me something to cure my acne, something organic which can kill all the bacteria of my body. Robin X Goroya, you don't want that. You don't want to kill all the bacteria on your body because, newsflash, bacteria is the reason that you are alive right now. One of the reasons. We cannot survive without bacteria. So you don't want to kill all the bacteria. Yeah, the answer for acne is the answer for any other health-related issue. Download the Captain's Code, link in the description. Those are the 12 non-negotiable habits required for lifestyle transformation. If you want to transform your life, if you want to transform your face, start living by those 12 habits. One of those habits is sunlight, which is crucial for skin health. A lot of people ask me about my skin, my hair. My answer is that I get a lot of sun exposure. I get a lot of sun exposure. That's been the main change that I've seen. One of the main changes, actually. The main change I've seen is not my skin and hair health. The main change I've seen from getting more sun is more like better overall health and enjoyment of life, and also a super sexy tan. Bonus points for clear skin and hair. So yeah, that's what I'd recommend. Download the Captain's Code. Specifically implement more sun exposure and also evening sun exposure, which is higher in red and infrared rays, which heal skin issues like rashes, burns, like sunburns. If you do get sunburnt, spend time in the evening sun. It will heal your sunburn faster. Same thing with acne. Clean up your gut. If you have any sort of skin rash or irritation or blemish, like eczema, for example, it's because your gut's fucked up and you're not getting enough sunlight. So get more sun, clean up your diet, find out what foods work for you, what foods don't work for you. Drink clean water, wash your face with clean water, get a water filter for your shower. Yeah, that's it for acne. Reduce stress also, and prioritize deep sleep. Brother, suggest me a great multivitamin to consume. Grass-fed, regeneratively raised beef, oysters, bone marrow, bone broth, raw dairy. Yeah, real food. Eat real food. Hayden underscore OB asks, what's the crew? The crew, thank you for asking this question so I can give myself a little promotion. The crew is my high performance men's community. It is the thing that I am most passionate about, helping out the crew specifically. The thing that I'm like most passionate about within the crew is the immersion, the complete lifestyle transformation in person. It's coming up in 2 weeks, which is why I'm so stoked about this. More information on that coming soon. So yeah, the crew is my men's community. We communicate daily on Telegram. That's the best way to get a hold of me and ask these types of questions where I'll give you a specific in-depth answer. I host weekly coaching calls, as well as monthly high-performance masterminds with guest speakers whom I've had on the podcast. So you can talk with these experts directly, like Zach Blakeney, who I mentioned about pornography. He's going to be hosting a mastermind when he comes on the podcast next. So you also get access to my morning and evening rituals course that explains the Cages morning ritual, the 5 most important things to incorporate to have a productive morning, and the 4-3-2-1 30 method, my nightly ritual that promotes rest, deep rest, relaxation, and You also get access to a knowledge database that I update in categories like masculinity, stress reduction, time management, nutrition, etc., as well as my alcohol optimization and hangover remedies course. Because I used to be a huge drinker. Now I rarely drink. Usually it's Gabalicious. Um, and when I do choose to drink, I implement these strategies that I've learned to still have your drink and wake up the next morning feeling productive, energized, alert. So yeah, it's like a 20-minute video that outlines all this. Wow, there's a lot of benefits of the crew. You get email resources, like I mentioned, the MVVP, how to create your mission, vision, values, and purpose, and a bunch of other stuff. And guess what? The best part is that it's only $1. I wanted to eliminate all of your little bullshit excuses that you can't afford it. Well, what is it that you can't afford? You can't afford to live a better life. You can't afford to prioritize your health. Yes, you can. I made it $1 for you. You get all those things that I just listed. And I promise you, this is a promise from Captain. It will be the best dollar you ever spend in your entire life. Guaranteed. Click the link in the description, join the crew, transform your health, find fulfillment, and maximize freedom. All right. Thanks, Hayden, for asking that question. At what point in your life did you feel you needed to change your way of living? Listen to the first Who is Captain Taylor Morgan? I explained that story. What is the difference between happiness and bliss? I don't know, man. I don't know. I think they're both great. So if there is a difference, imagine it's minimal. I don't know. Tell us about the EMF necklace. What differences have you noticed while wearing it? I won't go deep into telling you about it. I've talked about that already in this episode. I recorded a whole podcast with the CEO of this company. What have I noticed from wearing it? Peace of mind, for sure. For sure, peace of mind is the biggest difference that I've noticed, because I now feel comfortable being around technology and seeing 5G towers and traveling on planes so much and being around other people who have their phones, etc., because I have this. So peace of mind for sure. I can live at ease. The other thing I've noticed, specifically when flying, is less inflammation, especially on long flights. My legs would get, just inflamed. I don't know if inflamed is the right word. It is the right word. My legs would get inflamed and puffy. Now that I have EMF protection, that doesn't really happen. I'm trying to think of my last long flight. I haven't had a super long flight in a while, but it hasn't happened on any domestic flights. So that's the main difference that I've noticed, or two differences that I've noticed. What else? I would say those are also less tinnitus. I used to get tinnitus, or tinnitus, however you pronounce it, which is ringing in the ears. I thought that was from shooting a machine gun for 4 years of my life. A lot of it may be contributed to that, but it continued after the Marine Corps. And once I learned that EMFs can help protect against tinnitus, and I started protecting myself from EMFs, now I rarely get tinnitus. It's like once a month maximum, but really more like once every quarter, I would say. It's very rare. So yeah, again, link to the discount will be in the description. Joey's _ joy asks, if I can only buy coconut milk in a plastic jug or carton, which one would I get? So the question is whether or not I would get coconut milk in a plastic jug or carton. I've never bought coconut milk, but that's not the question. I would go with the carton because, yes, it will be lined with some form of plastic. I think it's better than a plastic jug. Joseph de Camara asks, naked male bonding? No, thank you. no, thank you. I will pass. I'm not sure if he was offering. Um, no, thanks. I had plenty of that in the Marine Corps. All right. That's it for Instagram questions. And we're coming up on oh, well, we just passed an hour. Cool. So this is going longer than I imagined, which is okay. Who knows if anybody will watch this whole thing? That'd be cool if you did. If you've watched up until this point, give me a pirate flag emoji in the comments, just so I know who the real ones are. All right, let's see questions from TikTok. What do I use for toothpaste, laundry detergent, shampoo, conditioner, and body soap? Um, Toothpaste, I use fluoride-free toothpaste, no brand in particular. Lately, I've been using Honeybee Hippie tooth powder. They're fluoride-free. I also use their tallow rub. They sent me a bunch of their stuff, and I wasn't going to use a lot of it because I really don't use any skincare products, but they mentioned that one of their husbands uses the tallow rub in his beard. So I tried that out, and it's actually been fucking wonderful. It acts as a conditioner, makes it super soft, and applies a little bit of hold. So that's been great. I rub the excess in my hair and on the rest of my body. So that's actually been really nice. Shampoo and conditioner I don't use. Body soap I rarely use, but when I do, it's artificial, fragrance free. So yeah, there's that. Megan asks, how long should you do fasting, and how can you boost your energy while fasting? The answer for this will be different from men and women. Megan, I see you're a woman who asked this. I recommend that you read the book Fast Like a Girl. I haven't personally read it, but I've had other holistic health coaches recommend that book for women who are interested in fasting, because I'm not adept in your cycle and your hormones and how fasting affects that. My specialty is more men's health, but I do know that typically over 14 hours a day is something that I would caution women against. So yeah, for women, read the book Fast Like a Girl. For men, the answer is it depends. Like, what's the purpose of your fasting? Are you doing it for fat loss? Are you doing it for longevity? Do you have cancer? Do you have some disease that would benefit from fasting? Are you doing it for mental clarity? So the answer is it depends. How to boost your energy while fasting? Make sure you drink enough high quality water with enough electrolytes. I prefer Celtic sea salt. That's my favorite. Um, Also, you can still do coffee while fasting. Depends on who you talk to, unless you're doing a dry fast, in which case that's no liquids, no foods. Um, Other ways to boost energy. Yeah, you can do coffee, tea. Cordyceps mushroom is a great adaptogen for energy. Ashwagandha, which the Stampede Network also sells, which I use their ashwagandha. Great adaptogen for reducing stress, improving natural energy, and boosting testosterone. Breath work is a fantastic way to boost energy. Cold exposure is fantastic. Sunlight, grounding. Yeah. All right. Juliana asks, how long is too long in the sun? I'm glad somebody asked this because I get a whole bunch of ridiculous comments on my post where I'm talking about sun, saying, bro, you're telling us to just go fucking stay 6 hours out in the afternoon Arizona sun? No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying to gradually build up your solar callus. So the answer to your question is going to depend on you. What is your skin type? What is your complexity currently? What is your ethnicity? Where are you at in the world? Um, what time of year is it? What's the UV index? So yeah, the answer is it depends. Well, the real answer is uh, until your body tells you no. How can I simplify this? How long is too long in the sun? You've been in the sun too long when your body is giving you the feeling that you've had too much sun, and then you go in the shade, just like animals do. Animals don't get sunburnt. Animals go in the shade. So just like humans, are just like animals. Humans are just evolved animals, and really, I think that there are some animals smarter than humans, because humans are living way out of touch with our nature. Hence why we have to ask this question: how long is too long in the sun? Don't burn. Go in the shade. Go inside before you burn, and you can increase that time as you build up your solar callus. I outline the 6 best ways to improve your solar callus. It's one of the pinned posts in my TikTok, which is at Captain_Taylor_Morgan. Melanie asks, how do I get my mustache in that shape, and what do I use for my beard? The mustache, there's nothing in it. This is just its natural shape after I've tamed it that way. So it just stays like this because that's just how I've trained it. So I do have mustache wax that I'll use on occasion if I really want to get the handlebar Captain Hook look. The beard, I already talked about what I use in the beard. I use Honeybee Hippie beard oil and their tallow. So I think I have a discount code for them, Captain T. I think. Put the discount link in the description. How tall am I? 6 feet. Lauren asks, LED lights versus incandescent, and if red lights are harmful or safe. Between LED and incandescent, definitely incandescent. Between incandescent and red lights, definitely red lights. I will link to the red light bulb that I recommend in the description. You can travel with these, screw them into your Airbnbs, hotels, use them in your home, etc. So yeah, red lights are the best option that you gave. However, I'll offer you a 4th option. I've been using UV light from a company called Waveform. I will also link this in the description. Yeah, UV light I've been experimenting with. I heard this on a Jack Cruz podcast where he cited a restaurant that is no longer open, but they only used UV light. I think it was a bar, actually. And if you guys know about, night shift workers, whether or not you work at a hospital or a bar, you're basically living, or a police officer, fireman, etc. You're living opposite of how we're designed to live in accordance with the rise and fall of the sun, circadian rhythm, etc. So typically, bartenders and people who work night shift are very ill and stressed out, have trouble sleeping, etc. So this particular restaurant or bar, I can't remember which one it was, none of their employees ever took a sick day, which is huge because obviously this is just correlation, not causation, but the bar was not artificially lit with blue lights. The bar was only using UV light, which is invisible light and does not disrupt the circadian rhythm. So Dr. Jack Cruz in that podcast mentioned that he uses UV light in combination with like candles and firelight. So I've been using UV light. Sleep has been great. I haven't noticed a huge difference from red light to UV light because before using UV light, I was using red light, which is way better than even incandescent bulbs. So yeah, UV light. I'll make more content around that. Not a lot of people know about UV light, but it looks cool too. All right. How did I achieve my muscle physique? Living by the Captain's Code. Link in the description. 12 non-negotiable habits required for lifestyle change. The T in the Captain's Code is training your mind and your body. But yeah, training intensely. Go past when you want to stop. Go past when it's uncomfortable. Train with intensity. Prioritize deep sleep. Prioritize nutrition, how you fuel your muscles. Prioritize recovery, rest and recovery. Plenty of sun exposure. Look at fucking Arnold and the golden age of bodybuilding. They were all working out outside in Venice Beach. Plenty of sunlight. Also steroids. I've personally never used any sort of banned or illegal performance enhancing drug. Never used testosterone, HGH, anything like that. So I know not to wear sunglasses, but what about regular glasses? The problem with regular, like seeing glasses, is that any sort of glass unless it's crystal, will disrupt the wavelengths of light entering your eyes. So glasses are better than contacts because contacts block uh, certain wavelengths of light, including UV light, which is crucial for health, as well as suffocate the cells of the eye because it's just like the suction cup on the eye. So glasses are better than contacts, but still, I encourage you to go on your, like anytime you're outside, practice walking and seeing without the glasses. You'll notice your vision may improve. You'll notice you'll start to feel better, sleep better, etc. So yeah, as much time as you can spend without the glasses, just getting natural light. Same thing with windows. Like inside, when you can, open the windows while you're driving, roll down the windows. Um, did I grow up in this lifestyle? No, it's not. It's the way I learned after childhood. Yes. Listen to, again, the episode, Who is Captain Taylor Morgan, to learn more about that. How do you beat fear? Talked about this a little bit. You beat fear by acting in the face of it, by living courageously. Uh, Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is acting in the face of fear. Um, so yeah, that's how you beat it, by not letting it control your life, by you acknowledging it. Say, okay, I feel fear right now. Realize that unless you're actually in danger, like being chased by somebody or you're in danger for your life, the fear is not real. The fear is a perceived fear of what other people are going to think about you, or uncertainty of a certain situation, like what's going to happen after I quit my job, or what's going to happen if I um, break up with my partner, etc. um, yeah, 99% of the things that we worry about only happen in our head. So yeah, how you beat fear is living with courage. Do you have to be on the beach or in the grass to be grounded? No, you just have to be on the earth. I believe that concrete and pavement still counts. Obviously, the more in nature that you can be, especially if you're in a natural body of water, or in wet grass, especially after a thunderstorm, that's the best way to ground. However, any time that you can spend not insulated from the connection with earth um, is also good. What's up with the Jolly Roger? What makes someone a pirate? Good question. I addressed this a little bit in the first episode. Who is Captain Taylor? Why I start these videos saying "What's up, pirates?" Um, yeah, from the book that's right here, actually. Be More Pirate. So I'll just real quick read some of the highlights of what makes someone a pirate. Actually, I don't even need the book. What I refer to, what I mean when I refer to pirates, is the freedom aspect of pirates. That they were fighting the tyrannical and controlling systems of their day, whether that was the Navy, whether that was the government, whether that was well, really those were the two big ones that pirates wanted to get away from. They wanted to align with freedom and sovereignty. Um, Pirates were also the first to pioneer fair pay. The captain and quartermaster took about 3 shares of whatever booty they acquired. The um, the other important roles like doctors and gunners would get 2 shares, and all the rest of the crew, even down to the cabin boy, would get 1 share. Now, if you were to do a calculation of like what the CEO earns versus like an entry level employee, it's like 300 to 1, the ratio. So it's a huge fucking gap. So the pirates were fair in their payouts. They also pioneered fair say. Like, it didn't matter if you were non-white, if you were a woman, if you were part of the ship, you were part of the crew. You got a vote in what was happening on the crew. So they really pioneered like the first real democracy. Um, they also pioneered workers' compensation. They gave out 800 pieces of bait for a lost leg, 600 for a lost arm, 100 for a lost eye. So they were fair because what they were coming from was not fair. The Navy did and still currently pays like shit. The government was keeping them controlled, did not have their best interest in mind. And yeah, they basically had enough of that and were fed up and decided to take things into their own hands. And instead of just breaking the rules, they rewrote them using the pirate code, which is why I've created the Captain's Code. We didn't just reject society, we are actively reinventing society, right? Bringing back fair say, right? No singular person or collective group of people, the government, authorities, have any authority over any other person. We, the people, are sovereign. We, the people, decide the government, what they have power over. We, the people, do. You, the individual, do. So that's what I mean by pirates. We are fighting for health, fulfillment, and freedom. Our purpose is to make thriving standard. I've already discussed what's thriving today. So that's what I mean when I say, what's up, pirates? I'm saying, hey, you, sovereign being who cares about health, fulfillment, and freedom. That's what I mean when I say pirates. Thank you for asking. Lauren asks, tinnitus and the shit you have to heal from being in the Marines. My hubby is 32 and already has pacemaker, lung shit, etc. So tinnitus, I mentioned that really went away after I started protecting myself from EMFs. The other things like a pacemaker, lung shit, he's just unhealthy. So download the Captain's Code for him, and he's a fucking grown ass man. If he wants to, you can suggest my profile, this video, my content, and have him look into it for himself. Why is my mouth blue? So on this video, I supplemented with methylene blue that day, which is a dye that basically turns whatever it touches blue. So my mouth was blue. So somebody asked, why is my mouth blue? The answer is methylene blue. What do I use to brush my teeth? So my oral care routine is I've got a copper tongue scraper that I'll do first. Some days I will oil pull with coconut oil, leave it in there, swish it around for about 10 minutes, spit it out, because coconut oil is naturally antibacterial, antiviral. And then I will brush my teeth with a bamboo toothbrush using fluoride-free tooth powder or toothpaste, as long as it's fluoride-free. So, yeah. And that is all the questions that I got, just over an hour, which is cool. If you guys made it this far in the video, instead of the pirate flag emoji, which I see Nori Castillo, who was actually my first client, commented the pirate flag. Appreciate you, Nori. Yeah, now if you've made it actually to the end of the video, leave a heart emoji. Leave a heart emoji because I love you guys. I've said this many times. I will continue to say it. Money is not as valuable as you may think. Your most valuable currencies are where you spend your time and what you pay attention to. So I greatly appreciate you guys spending your time and paying attention to my content. This video, I am glad that I am able to provide you value, real world value to transform your health, help you find fulfillment, and maximize freedom in your life. If you enjoy my content, which if you made it this far, you do, then some ways that you can support me are liking this video, subscribing to my YouTube channel, sharing one of my podcast episodes with someone else who can benefit from it, downloading the Captain's Code, joining the crew if you're a man. I just realized I'm listing off a lot of things that you guys can do to support, which there's a thing, I forget the term of it, but decision fatigue, is that it? Where you just have so many options and you can't pick one because there's so many different things. And they've done studies where like people at a fair or a market or something, you know, one booth has 20 different jams, the other booth has 3 jams. People spend the most time at the booth with 20 different options, but they spend the most money, aka support, with the guy with 3 jams. So I'll reduce those options. Since you're watching on YouTube, subscribe on YouTube and share an episode of the podcast with someone else who can benefit from it. And with that, appreciate you guys. Until next time, live the captain's lifestyle. Peace.